It's just, right off the bat, no.
Worst thing in the
Yeah.
world. Yeah. He like how young?
Yeah, it's just,
How young?
He's like 20, 21.
But you know what? How old are you? Can I ask?
20, 21.
Oh. Well, then I can't tell you that young men just do that.
What's the kerfuffle?
Young man, he's got a new guy working with him. Just started working with him, and they work at a restaurant, and he's a line cook, and he keeps talking about how all the waitresses are hot.
Oh, that's pretty That's pretty normal
But
for a
it's-
20, 21 year old.
yeah,
That's
not
pretty
cool.
normal
Yeah, but it
behavior.
was like, that was literally the first thing he ever said to me.
Right.
That's crazy. That's
Actually,
not
that was
cool.
the second thing that he ever said to me. The first thing, I was listening to some death grips in the back, and he just walked past me and he goes, "That's some high IQ music you're listening to."
Hey.
He was complimenting you. This guy seems like he likes to compliment people, but gets it wrong.
He likes your brainwaves.
Yeah. He's like, "You're a fucking intelligent guy, and all these waitresses are hot. This is the best place I've ever worked."
But the next thing he ever said to me was, "Have you ever heard of Jordan Peterson?"
Ah,
God
shit.
damn it,
Fuck.
these
I thought
fucking
I was going to help you
kids.
reform him, but there's a lot of work here.
Yeah, why does that happen? What is going on with you young people? You're 20 or 21. What's going on out there, man? Young men are
People
fucked.
spend so much time watching YouTube, and then they smoke a lot of weed, which I'm guilty of. But I do other things when I'm high, like in the street fight. But
Can I ask you?
no, then
Can I ask you as
he
a
also
person?
has
'cause
like latent mental health issues.
Okay, I'm an older guy, and when I was younger, I had a real fucking preoccupation with older adults liking me and like being. Do you think that is part of it? Like that, it's just people are like this. I want to live up to this Jordan Peterson shit. He cleans his room, you know.
No, to be honest, I want to say I've had this experience myself where it does feel like everybody is mad at white guys, and it really sucks to be just like a regular old white guy. It feels that way. Like they have a reason, and they have a whole group of people, and there is a lot of, they go and they find one person that tweets that has 10 followers and says kill all white guys, and then they just pass that around, like they're being attacked and shit. And Jordan Peterson tells them they're in danger, but heteronormity is still like rules everything. It's like it sucks because it's
Yeah,
like
I think
people.
he has since started like stalking the girl that he was dating,
Oh fuck!
who
This
also
is
works
this
at the
guy's-
restaurant.
Okay,
Yeah, he's just very, very bad.
so now
But,
you're
luckily-
stuck with him.
Everyone realizes it. But it was just very strange to have, like, one day him just being like, "Hey, you heard of Jordan Peterson?" And then the next, like, 3 days later, everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, he showed up at our house at 6 in the morning."
God
I'm like,
damn. Well, those
Yeah.
guys have so much trouble with
Interaction and sociology.
I
They
think
they don't understand a lot of it at all. They really are too much in their heads and are very misguided about what the interactions are.
I'll say this: I don't think they like to work at a relationship.
that too.
I think there are a lot of women out there that are the same way, but like these are just people that don't think that there are a lot of people out there, especially
Tom
when you're.
This is the part of the Tom Likas
Yeah.
as well.
I think 18 to like 25 years old. I think where like you feel like a relationship shouldn't be work. Like that true love means that you don't have to work
Yeah.
at loving the other person or being in a relationship. And that's like a really romantic notion. And goddamn, man,
It's not true.
I wish it was true, but like sometimes she listens to the show too. Sometimes I don't like my wife. Like sometimes we're fighting and like I love her with like all my heart, but it's the same thing with like Brett or my sisters and brothers and stuff like that. It's just like I love you all, but like right now I fucking hate you. And I'm like, I have to, that's things that I have to work on too. And maybe making the other person aware of that. And I think a lot of those guys, and I think a lot of those guys believe that their relationship with a woman shouldn't be any kind of work or put them out in any way. And then they have these guys that tell them.
They've assigned themselves to stereotypical masculinity, and they can act however they want, and they shouldn't have ever expect to be changed or to compromise or stop.
No, that's exactly.
Stop.
What you're saying, Brett, is exactly what he was doing, because when he was training me, he tried to pull some like macho bullshit,
right?
Of me like not respecting him, and like because he's my trainer, I have to respect him. Okay. So he's obviously very into having like just hierarchies that he is at the top of.
Yes.
What did he say? Did he just say, "Why don't you respect me"?
Pretty much. We were getting busy, and I get like quiet and serious when I'm focused on getting a lot of orders out. And so I guess I like didn't answer him nice enough.
Oh no!
When I asked for something, he was like, "Dude, you gotta respect me. You gotta do that. I'm your trainer. You gotta do that. Are you disrespecting me, dude?"
Oh my
God! And
God!
then he went and sat for an hour in the back.
Oh God! And so you're still working with this guy?
No, he left.
Good.
Okay.
You're lucky.
That was his last day. Yeah, I'm real lucky, which is why.
I will say one thing is that even as a young man, you might be called into the MGTOW lifestyle, the men going their own way, and maybe
Tom Likas, baby.
Women aren't worth it, or maybe you think Tom Likas is right. But once you see the lived experience of the people that do that, you will never in your life think that's a good idea.
Yeah, hopefully
the way that they flame out and just look so bad and are so embarrassed.
Hopefully the Jordan Peterson guy realizes in like 2 or 3 years that like that whole thing
I
is
have to say,
dumb.
We're going to have a lot of guys that are going to eventually realize it was stupid. It's going to take a few years, but eventually this stuff won't make sense. After everybody that does it just looks pathetic.
Oh yeah, and MGTOW is the one that you know that one.
Oh yeah,
they're the one.
I feel really. My problem is that you heard of irony poisoning?
Yeah.
I was talking about this with my buddy. I have empathy poisoning. Like I feel bad for the guys. They're so fucking bad.
You can see why
they're so fucking awful. But I feel bad for them because the reason they fall for this is that these guys are out there like Jordan Peterson or whoever else saying, this is so simple. Life is so simple. Dealing with other people is so simple. And it's not. It's super fucking complex.
Yeah.
And so they fall into this idea that if they just do these simple rules about being a dick to everybody, that everything will be really cool and really easy.
Yeah, they believe in the they believe in the IQ of everything and the thinking through everything. They don't understand the emotional intelligence that's required to connect and to be vulnerable and to show who you are in front of people and be a little embarrassed or not know everything all the time. I think when I was younger, I had a problem with like I wanted to know everything all the time. I wanted to be a guy that had an answer and could explain stuff and would get embarrassed if someone else knew more. And it just made me, as I scrambled for more relevancy, it was like totally unnecessary, totally fucking unnecessary.
Yeah.
Nobody has it figured out.
And like the things you're talking about are things like liner notes in fucking heavy metal albums.
Yeah,
or like fucking horror movie facts.
Who produced, the first House on the Haunted Hill.
Yeah, but like, yeah, I think the MGTOW thing, like anybody who's met one of those guys knows that it's like a sort of pathetic and sad lifestyle. But I've talked about this on the show before, and I think that what Drew is talking about is something that I agree to. I have a lot of empathy for like lonely men. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Because like I am a very lucky guy that made friends as an adult. But you guys do understand that like adult men don't really make friends. You know what I mean?
It's really hard. Here's the thing is that basically when you're in school, you're in with a bunch of people that you don't know, and you're in a situation, you have things in common, you have problems you solve in common, so you're bonded together. It's like fucking Survivor, right? Whether you're in school or whatever, and then when you have
or
these
work.
Yeah, or work
Work
exactly.
is easy. That's the most reliable place people have friends, and then that dries up. And then
But even then, like a lot of people refuse to hang out with people from work.
Yeah,
I
that too.
didn't hang out with anybody at the cable company for more than like maybe 2 or 3 times because I was like, I just don't want to like get attached to these people because
right.
I could end up leaving. I hate this place.
Well,
you know?
and it's rough because when you have work friends and you hang out with people from work and you like talk to people from work and then you don't work there, like they won't fucking talk to you.
I know.
Oh, no,
You
they're
know
gone.
that, and you're afraid of being hurt. You're afraid of being like, it's gonna hurt my feelings so bad if I leave or this person leaves and I'm not gonna chill with them anymore, right?
Totally right. Yeah.
I just I guess it is, you call it that way, but I'm saying I always think of it as like I just don't want to get involved. Like I'm not going because you don't care. Once I don't work here, we're no longer friends. And it happens so often that like you're so a part of someone's life, like intense experiences you have with people, then they get fired and you never fucking, it's like,
Yes.
Well, we
I
talked
don't-
about that.
Should I text them? It's like, I don't know. It's been 6 weeks since I text them. Guess I'll never see them again, ever.
We talked about that thing though with like Brett told me a story yesterday. We were out at this like concert thing and Brett was talking about how like he is in like a whole generation of pictures of a family that he doesn't talk to, period. And Hollymore hasn't in 10 years and doesn't even know them anymore.
Yeah, we had an issue where recently someone's wedding that we were going to go to, they were like high school sweethearts, and they went and they made it through college and they got married, and then they found out one of them was cheating on one for the last year, and they have a whole wall full of pictures with this person in it. And I was like, oh, I did too. Like I was an usher in a girlfriend's wedding, and I was just literally like, please, come on, do not put me, I don't want to be a part of this. And I'm like, no, we insist. And now I'm in like someone's wedding photo standing there in like a suit that they bought for me because they thought it was going to be some true love
Friends
thing.
forever,
and I was like,
baby.
no, I'm not. It's not.
You're going to be in this family forever,
No.
Brett. I can't imagine life without Brett. And then 1 month after the breakup, it's like, who, Brett?
But that's calm. I mean, there's lots of pictures on people's walls like that.
I know. Well, thanks for calling in. I appreciate you. You got some
I
stuff.
have one last thing. I wanted to hear what you guys thought about Albuquerque when you all performed
We
there.
loved it.
Albuquerque's phenomenal.
I love that place. It's the best food I've ever had on tour. I'm serious.
Best food we've had. The city was great. The people were wonderful. Great views. It was really cool. And they had way more pride. I'll tell you what, Columbus, Ohio is way into itself with all of the products and t-shirts it sells. Everything was fucking Albuquerque there. Like, it was out loud Albuquerque. I love that city. I would love to go back and hike all over them plateaus.
Yeah. I love you, New Mexico. You truly are the land of enchantment. Thanks for calling in, buddy.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
then
yeah, have you-
surprising amount of performance places. I don't know what the fuck is up about that.
Yeah. God, that's so crazy, Drew. I am like 100% with you that like I have this empathy for lonely dudes that like end
Yeah.
up doing like you're like, oh, what a fucking like they go to MGTOW and you're like, ugh, MGTOW.
I know.
What a
You know-
shitty thing,
you
but
know
you're like,
what
you know
it-
why
And when
they
you
did
fight,
Yeah, because you're like there, but for the grace of God. Like, you could have very easily, because the MGTOW sign is like a road sign, and it's a straight road, and they veer off, and like, we took the straight road.
Yeah.
We're like, we're gonna be cool, and try to have friends, and try to like date, and try to have
Relationships.
a
Yeah.
good relationship with somebody.
maybe,
and
maybe take a little feedback from a woman. Maybe give it a
Yeah,
listen.
yeah,
Just
maybe.
listen in a little bit.
maybe, hey, what are my partner's emotions? I don't know. I could listen. I
Right.
don't know,
I
right?
could just talk to them directly.
Yeah.
I think it's time to take a break.
Okay.
And then we will come back and answer the rest of these calls.
Do we have
got
music, or is that possible?
God dang it.
I can play it on my iPad.
Okay.
Oh,
we will
okay,
play
sorry,
some music
man.
here in a minute. But yeah, I agree. I
Gotta
have.
find it.
I mean,
don't know what to
I
find.
honestly, I have empathy for everyone. I do see how easy it is to be massaged into a path, no matter what it is. Like, society just greases the wheels for you. And if you're going to buy into that, like, heteronormative, like, macho bullshit, it does work for a lot of, psychos and sociopaths and good-looking people. But there's going to be some losers in that game. And if you're going to treat every woman like they're a conquest or something, they don't tend to like that. Like, you're just not. We have a way less success rate than just respecting somebody. You know?
Yeah, I heard once that women are people.
Yes, right. Just want to make sure we get it out there to the listeners. You know, hip them to that new shit. Make sure they stay woke out there.
That 2019 shit, right?
Here's the thing, dude. I am kind of I had to learn that myself. Like I was in my 20s and early 30s, and like I thought I don't think I thought I was a feminist, but man, did I really buy into like the traditional gender roles and macho bullshit and stuff.
I mean, yeah,
really
you're still in there. You're still in there. You just have a different version of it.
Right. I think I'm into the macho bullshit and all that stuff, but like I do think that like I make it I got it. Oh, you sent it already? You sent something?
On
okay,
what?
That's
Facebook?
fine. Yeah.
Send it to me on Facebook.
He sent it. But I'm just the dude that like I understand what you're saying, like that I still am into like real macho bullshit, but I feel like I try to listen to like women more, and like I respect their opinion the same. But I really do believe that I didn't in the past. Like I really was a person.
No, you're right.
That didn't respect women's opinions about things the same. Music is a great example. Like I remember telling Katie, women don't have good taste in music, and they only like what their boyfriends listen to.
Oh, man. Damn, telling on yourself. Wish we would have had that music cued so they couldn't clip that shit out.
Well, I did say it, though. It's
He's
something
owning
that's
up to
for
it.
real. And then, like, it came back later on in life. Like, I'm embarrassed about saying something like that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's like a super embarrassing thing, and somehow I veered out of it. But just even thinking, like, you know me, and you know I'm not, like, a huge asshole, and you know I try to, like, be a good person, but even like I was seduced by that sort of thing.
Well, and that's true. You're talking about veering one way. You can also veer the other way and just not be so tied up in masculinity that it's important to be like the breadwinner and you have to make the most amount of money. You know, that's when my wife makes more money than me. I don't give a shit.
That changed me a lot.
You know, and then all of the housework and all that stuff and making it all together, it is better as a partnership. Like I feel like the standard, you know, traditional relationship of having my wife pick my clothes out for me, you know, and going and like bowling once a week or something seems fucking awful, you know, just living at the whim of, you know, a woman that does everything for me. Like I'm a fucking baby that can't take care of myself, you know, does all my laundry. It's fucked up.
Yeah. It's just, it is an easy world to get seduced into because it takes very little work.
And young people, and you know, you're scared when you're young and you haven't had a lot of chances and you haven't just had your heart ripped out and realized that you're going to make it through. You haven't lived through that enough. And you're very scared and you feel like you're going to get taken advantage of when you're 20 years old, that some, you know, woman's going to come break your heart and leave you there stranded and vulnerable and looking like an asshole.
Something that I just said earlier to the person that called was like, you know,
but it's fine. That's life, you know.
It's part. I mean, it is part of like growing up. It just is like really sad that these 22-year-olds. Again, I believe that a lot of 22, 23, 20, even people up to like 27, 28 are seeking approval from people that they perceive to be adults.
Right.
But they're actually like, you're an adult. You know what I mean? When you're 22, you're an adult. But I remember always being like, and telling my dad or talking to my father-in-law at the time about like, yeah, I'm really interested in the Revolutionary War and like all the stuff that happened and like what Thomas Jefferson was into. Let's talk about all this stuff. And I felt grown. Because I was invited to a fucking luau party by old adults that had 50-year-olds at it.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I'm grown.
I'm at the adult table.
You know?
All right, let's get
I was a dumb shit idiot kid.
Yeah,
you know?
Let's get this break in. We got some music here from James Curry IV. This is called The Meat Machine is the name of the album. We'll be back in like 10 minutes. We're Street Fight.
Everybody knows now. Everybody knows now. Everybody knows now. Trying to keep up, trying to keep up, keep up. Trying to keep up, trying I miss my dad. He worked 2 jobs, then died. I miss my dad. Every morning I go to work, arm in suit every day. Stack the numbers, gotta pay. I go to work, I lose my fucking mind. I go to work, I got no fucking time. Just trying to keep up, I try, I walk in place. I'm so exhausted, I'd rather just die. Trying to keep up, trying to keep up, keep up. Trying to keep up, write my CV, my will, oh yeah. Cook them hamburgers, yeah.
Hey everybody, we're back. I hope you enjoyed that song by James Curry IV. Where can you find them? Let me get that.
Bandcamp.
Let me find it. Yeah, they're on Bandcamp. Just go to jamescurryiv.bandcamp.com if you want to listen to more, support more. Oh, that's the dude out of that's the Burgerville guy that we had on stage at our
Nice.
Portland, Oregon show. Yeah, good guy. I'm gonna have him on soon to talk more about what's going on with Burgerville. So you'll get a union update from them very soon. If you're just tuning into the feed, we're Street Fight Radio. We take your calls on Sunday nights, 9 p.m. to midnight Eastern Standard Time. You can call in to the chat. That number to dial is 614-655-3887. I wouldn't call in tonight, but next week if you want to call in, feel free to do so. We do have special guests in the studio today. Drew Toothpaste, you know him from Married to the Sea, and just started a new podcast yourself, right?
Yeah, it's called Garbage Brain University. Started it with Natalie D.
Right. Your wife.
Yeah.
Which is good. The thing about podcasts, it's hard to do them over Skype sometimes. It's tough to do that with people that you've met online and stuff. But when you got a real personal connection with people, it's usually pretty good audio.
Yeah.
We just did a wife show, and it was really good. So
It's easy to work with somebody that you have like affection for. That's why me and Brett work
yeah.
pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And it's easier, like, if you can make eye contact with somebody.
Yeah.
And you can see, like, their body language. It's a lot easier to have it go real smoothly.
That actually becomes a problem like later on when you when you don't look at each other while you're like where you're just like I'm so good at this I can like look at my phone and my computer and like just talk. We're talking, we're all sitting here. Me and Brett are like I'm usually working still while we do the podcast, like reading off the thing. But whenever we look at each other, I feel like that's some of the best radio.
It's magic.
Yeah. Magical.
So where can they get it? And what is it again?
It's called GarbageBrainUniversity.com. We basically do one subject a week and just kind of go into some weird facts about like our last episode was about dreams, and we talked about, what causes dreams, why do you have dreams? And Natalie told a story about how she kicked E.T.'s ass.
Good dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, definite REM stage dream, the deepest stage of sleep. Yeah.
And we do talk about snack attack when it comes to getting your fix of candy on this show. And you brought, Brian says I'm the weird candy addict here. I like some odd flavors.
You're just You
Lychee,
don't like good things.
Green tea, bugles.
Lychee's good though.
Lychee is the
I mean,
best.
when me and Brett were testing international cokes,
Yeah.
there were times where I felt like I was gonna barf, and Brett would be like, "Oh, that's a good one," and I was like, "Come on, dude, that's not good."
He doesn't like the taste
There
of
was this
honey.
one-
He doesn't like the taste of honey.
Okay,
I like really bitter, funky stuff. And if I taste something and it's just like sweet, I'm like, why do I deserve this?
the one from India is a perfect example of like it tasted like Coke. It tasted like
Yeah.
having a Coke, but then it had like a little cumin chaser there at the end.
Yeah, a little
Really?
And it
spice.
was hideous. Like taking a drink of something with cumin in it is like not my idea of a tasty drink.
It was
That
good.
that sounds like it could be
Pretty
good.
roasty.
Not a good pop.
So you brought for us. This is Gustav's Dutch licorice, and we've heard about the Dutch people.
I've been screamed at by people. Stefan Heck, if it's a stupid post, he calls it Dutch posting. Because he said Dutch people have the dumbest replies on
spaghetti.
the internet.
They're the ones that eat spaghetti and ketchup.
But what I'm saying is, like, I once posted that I would be okay if they outlawed black licorice flavor. Just as a
Okay.
joke. It was just being funny.
Yeah,
If you like
yeah.
it, you like it, whatever. And I got screamed at by people saying, Dutch people love it. You haven't tried salt licorice. And I was like, no, I haven't, because it sounds like the most hideous thing I could ever try in my life. I'm not an adventurous eater. I'm not going to try it. And then Drew brings it over for the podcast.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
Here's a good example. I ate all of his Star Mix that he brought.
Yes.
Drew brought Haribo Star Mix.
That's
and
my
I just,
palate cleanser.
Well, you.
I brought peanuts too, so
That's not really a palate cleanser. People don't understand. Me and Brett consider gummy candy and like sour straws palate cleansers.
Yeah,
those
they
are
reset.
neutral to
They
you.
reset everything.
We got so stoned in Las Vegas. We both got like all ripped up in Las Vegas, and we went down to the store in the casino, and we bought a shit ton of candy. We'll just tell them TGI Fridays potato skins.
Yes.
I got the normal flavor, cheddar and sour cream,
Yeah.
and Brett got something
Jalapeno.
Yeah, of course, he got jalapeno.
How is that not normal?
It's not a normal chip flavor. That's all I'm saying. And then we also got gummies. No, we got sour ribbons. They were belts. Yeah, and I got Reese cups, and he got whatever weird chocolate thing he probably got. And every time I ate, so I would eat and eat the potato skins, and then I would grab a sour belt and eat that, and then I could eat the
Chocolate.
That take you
Chocolate
back
candy.
to baseline.
Kind of soaks everything up. Kind of resets, like washing your mouth. So this is Gustav's Dutch licorice double salt. So this is double salt, classic salt licorice. This is like the size of what is it, like a nickel? Maybe a double thick nickel.
Yeah, yeah.
I think also just a soft candy is not cool at all. Okay,
It's
I'm gonna do it.
intense. It's intense. It's a lot of salt.
I'm gonna do this.
I like them.
Woo!
Should
I think they're fine.
Should I bring the account? I'm gonna bring the chat up and see if people are interested in me trying this first of all, so that I can get away with not trying it if people post it. Like if somebody doesn't post in the chat, I'll just be like, oh well, I guess I don't have to try it because it sounds sick. It sounds sickening to me.
It is it's worse than Malort. I think that
Malort.
instead of Malort, people should do double salt black licorice.
It's
instead.
worse than Malort. I haven't tried Malort. And
Is it worse than Ivana bitch?
No, I would take it. I would love an Ivanovich right now. I would love the smooth menthol flavor of Ivanovich menthol tobacco flavored vodka.
listeners, you're seeing something I have never seen in my life.
I'm miserable right now.
Brett is grossed out by something. Everything he likes is gross.
Stuck
He's
in my
a gross
teeth.
human.
It's so salty. It's like this is like deer shit. This is like
Oh,
deer
it's
candy.
stuck. It's stuck in all of my teeth, and I like it because then you get like the salt runoff.
Okay, here
For
I
like
go.
the
The
next
drip. You got a
15
salt drip. Like
Yeah, you get a
cocaine.
drip for like 15 minutes.
Here I go.
Hit it.
Oh, I
Hit
don't
it.
want to.
They called you a coward.
They're not calling me a coward.
They did call you a
All
coward.
right, here we go. This is bad. Oh.
Oh, he didn't even last.
No, you gotta.
He's 3 seconds.
What's the joyful part? Is there a joyful part?
You drink beer with it, he said? Or maybe eat candy? Isn't that odd? Isn't that peculiar? I don't know.
I told you it's
I
not
feel like-
really licoricey though, because the
It's not
salt.
licorice at all. It's
There's
salt.
so much
It's
salt.
so much salt.
Yeah.
This is like really not enjoyable.
This is like, I think maybe if someone was like tripping too hard, you could give them
there's-
something like that. It would bring them back to sober.
There's like 100 of these
It is.
in the bag.
Jesus.
How do you even eat one?
Oh.
Okay, I gotta get
It's like all salt, and I was telling Brett I like to eat them until like I get heart palpitations.
Yeah, until you
Like
can
it changes the salt level in my body.
feel the sodium collect in the arteries.
can't get it out of my mouth.
Uh-oh, Brian's about to have a freak out. He's gonna drive all the way home and brush his damn teeth. Let's see who's on the phone here. Thank you for calling Street Fight. Who we talking to tonight?
Hey guys, it's Haley. How y'all doing?
Doing wonderful. Thanks for calling in.
I've never
No problem.
I hate this.
What's that? Brian's recuperating. Sorry, he's like really. He's digging in his mouth.
No worries. Yeah, recuperating from Vegas or from tonight?
Recuperating from double salt licorice from Gustav.
Oh God, no. Oh, that sounds gross.
It's a trial. It's worse than yeah.
That's the worst snack I've ever
My
had.
dad,
You're
my dad
welcome.
likes
Never
my
had a
dad,
worse snack than that in my entire life. I don't even consider
My
it.
dad loves black licorice.
Yeah.
My dad loves black licorice, and every Christmas he'll put it in the stocking, knowing that I won't eat it,
That's fine.
and he'll take it. And it's
Okay.
like, just buy it for yourself, Dad. Like at that point, you know.
No, sorry, you're talking to
but-
dads here. That's the best part about being a dad. That's the best part about being a dad.
Yeah.
Buying your
No,
kid shit.
Yeah, I buy my kid all the Peeps and all the Cadbury eggs in the world, and she takes one bite and is like, I guess I don't want these. I'm like, perfect.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm back. I think I got it all out of my mouth.
It's
What's
intense.
going on tonight?
Woo!
Awesome. I'm calling in. It's funny because I saw you guys were looking for stuff about just weird trainings and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I worked when I was an undergrad. So around I want to say, it was my freshman year of undergrad. I worked retail, which, and in and of itself, is just awful. But I worked retail at a particular electronics store called Fry's Electronics. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that.
But it is I am familiar with electronic stores, but not that one particularly.
Not Fry's. Okay.
Oh, I've heard of
So
Fry's. I
Fry's,
saw
I think-
Fry's in probably Phoenix. I think I saw it, or Vegas, or one of those places. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. Ugh.
But so I worked there for about 5 weeks. But this isn't really so much about training per se, but I remember the first time that I went in there after I'd gotten the interview and got the position and everything. It was before I started the training, and the boss pulled me in there. And this was before I transitioned, so I'm going to use pronouns that aren't really mine. But he starts talking to me about oh, you're a fairly young single guy. Who are you dating? Do they need a job? And it's I'm over here I just moved here. I don't know anybody yet. I'm really nervous about it. And then he starts talking to me about who I voted for.
Oh no!
And
God.
I was a lib. I was a lib back then. So I I voted for a Democrat. And he's like, I figured you'd be smarter than that.
Oh
And
no!
it's
No.
Oh God, here we go. And then it turns out so then I go to the trainings and everything like that, and the standard report sexual harassment, all this other stuff, right? So I started working at the front reception area, for where the cash registers were and everything. And the guy they would always pair me up with at the register next to me would constantly make sexual comments about the women there.
Oh, no.
And no matter how many times I reported him for it, 'cause it was super uncomfortable. he'd like elbow me in the middle of our shift. Like somebody would be right in front of me, and he'd like elbow me in the middle of the shift and be like, hey, that girl's got a nice ass, right? And it's like, are you for real, dude? Like, are you like for real?
Yes.
And, like,
Yeah.
it was something out of like a really stupid movie.
That sucked that you
like, just
reported. That sucked that you've reported them, because I found in my life I usually shut that shit down, and then they just think I'm uncool, and they just will talk shit about me to the other guys. And
Well, I'm sure they talk shit about this person too.
sure,
you
sure,
know?
of course they did, but to like
Yeah,
keep
no,
it going
I
is-
mean, in hindsight, it probably wasn't necessarily the best thing to do. But here's the thing, also I was like just really stupid back then.
You're young and you're a lib and you feel like you gotta
yeah.
do the right thing. I know what you're talking. I'm with you. Man.
Yeah,
Or I'm with
but see, yeah, I guess it's all right. So it's funny though, but I reported him and they didn't even do anything about it either until he started hitting on the manager.
now it's
you.
serious.
I love this guy. Well, I mean,
He's just
was he
unstoppable.
like?
He's playing every number he
Was
can.
he nice? Because I'll tell you this. I worked with a guy that I found to be a very charming person who did hit on every single customer that came in. And like he hit on every woman that walked in that store. And he had about a 20% success rate.
Okay.
Which was like, I hate that he hit on all these women, but like when I was younger, I was so afraid to ask a woman out that I would sort of like be in awe of
Yeah, he thought he
somebody.
was, like, brave.
It was just like, he doesn't care if they say no or laugh at him or call him ugly. And no, he didn't, but that's because he didn't have any self-awareness and he was just like a scuzzy dude. So like, I get how, like now if I saw that happening, it would make me uncomfortable. At the time,
Yeah.
I looked at this guy like, how does he do it, man? What did he come up with a secret for? Like, is the secret that you have to ask every single woman you see to finally get a girlfriend? You know?
I mean, like, he wasn't even really doing it to like try to get a date so much as like he was just like basically horny posting IRL. Like that's all he was doing really. But I found out that they didn't do anything with this guy because the boss who was, asking me about all this stuff about my like voting, like who I voted for and whatnot, he was also guilty of like sexually harassing like a bunch of the other female employees there. And it was around this, it was like my third week when I found out that like this store, not corporate, this store that I was in California had settled like a $20 million sexual harassment lawsuit.
Woo.
The store. Like one store. Like that's a corporate amount of money that you sue somebody for, but that was for one fucking store.
I gotta say,
and then the other,
Can I gotta say that like, I know this sounds like, I don't know what this sounds like, but I like do get kind of happy when a big business gets hit with that because like when you're working in retail and like we just talked about this with our wives on the show, like a lot of these people are hitting on like teenagers, or they're like, they're not harassing. They wouldn't harass a 30-year-old woman.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't have the guts to harass a 30. I mean, it happens, right? I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but in retail, it is a lot of pathetic managers and like 25-year-old dudes and 30-year-old dudes hitting on like 16-year-olds,
19-year-olds.
Like, I've seen it like over and over again. I don't think teenagers should have to work. And that's like basically the reason why. You're just not equipped to deal with that sort of thing, especially, well, look, teenage dudes working is one thing because, nobody's like really hitting on you, but you can't make a law that's like teenage women aren't allowed to work. So like, I just don't think any teenager should be working because it's not their fault. The adults can't handle it. Adults can't handle teenagers working at all. They can't handle it. I mean, the shit that I have seen customers say to teenagers to like
Yeah.
younger people is a million times more vile than the shit a customer would ever say to me or would ever say to one of us at this table.
Yeah.
You know, it's just when you're younger, adults don't. I mean, like none of the people when you work at a place. And like any kind of retail that hires teens, like you're on such a low level in a way.
It's a power relationship because your bosses, your managers have power over you, and they don't treat you right if you're a teenager, unless you luck into getting somebody who's like, I'm gonna mentor these teens, right? And the customers don't give a shit. The customers are going to treat you awfully.
Yeah,
so
because
you
they
get
think you're a dipshit.
Yeah, exactly. So you're on the wrong side of the power equation, right?
Yeah, yeah. What ended up happening with this fella?
So he still, as far as I know, I mean, he was allowed to keep his job.
Okay.
He owned the store too.
Okay. All right. Well.
Yeah. So.
I say this.
Yeah,
I'll say this. There are a lot of dudes that work in customer service and stuff that the only reason they have that job is to look at women. Like when I worked at Chuck E. Cheese, my manager would straight up tell me, let's go walk around and look at the moms. And like, I was 16, so I was kind of like, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Really in the mom.
Yeah.
You know, I am interested in people my own age sort of thing. But he would just be like, let's go fucking look at the moms, man. Let's go walk around the showroom and look at the moms. And it was just like, it seemed like the only reason he got a job at Chuck E. Cheese is because he was into like MILF porn. You know, at the time that didn't exist.
No, but it's weird though. It's really weird. Like, I mean, I know, like, not to, like, generalize anybody, but, like, man, like, the male, like, gender just has this huge problem of, like, taking porn fetishes and then just, like, applying that when they, like, try to, like, hit on women. Like, I don't know, like, it's really weird they do that, but, like, the boss that I had, I don't know the details per se, but from what I understand, he was, like, into some weird shit. From some of the people that I worked with who were actually parties to that lawsuit. And then, but see, like, apparently, too, like, once I found out, like, I found out about a bunch of the other shit that had been going on. So the company was actually caught manually editing out people's overtime hours. So they weren't getting paid the, overtime hours. Like, my supervisor, Vince, who was, like, about as cool as you could get for supervisors. He's actually kind of a nice guy. And, like, I could just call him and be like, hey, I don't really want to come into work today. He'd be like, okay, cool. I'll say you were sick or something. He was a cool guy. But he was, asked to stay overtime the whole time. And so 1 year, he clocked around, like, I want to say maybe about 500 to 600 hours of overtime. And all of that wasn't, like, he had all the paperwork for it and everything because he had the manual timesheets that they use when you're management, not the electronic time cards. And they, like, had gotten rid of all the records of him ever working. It's just like, oh, we're not going to pay you. You could have edited those in yourself. And it's like, no. So he got a nice fat, $35,000 paycheck one day, and then he quit the next day because he's like, I can actually, like, pay tuition at college now. Bye. Right. So he left, and then I quit a week later after that because I busted my hand on a loadout because some old people bought, like, a really fancy TV, and it was like a 70-inch TV or whatever it was. I don't remember the size per se, but it was really big and it was really heavy. And I busted my wrist, and then I got the thing that was like, okay, you can work. They're just not allowed to, like, have you do any heavy lifting, so you can't lift anything over 5 pounds. And I was like, okay, cool. And so I go back to work, and the first place they put me in is the back where all the heavy shit is.
Oh, Christ. Yeah.
And it's like, all right, so I stopped showing up to work.
Yeah, smart.
and I don't know what happened after that. I never went back there. I don't even put that shit on my resume.
No, you can
Like,
do
I
that.
don't even.
You can omit it.
Brett actually tells a story on this tour. I don't want to give it away, but Brett's used some pretty bad situations as references, and it's worked.
Yeah,
So,
they don't do a lot of checking at most places.
well, thank you for
That's
calling.
wild.
Thank you for calling in. We appreciate it. We got to get these next. What's up?
Okay. I just want to say one quick thing. Yesterday I got some bad news. A friend of mine had passed away. She killed herself.
Oh.
If all y'all are like feeling bad or anything like that, please reach out. I know it sucks. I know like people think the hotlines are really bad, but I appreciate y'all being here. Don't give up, man. It's not worth it. It's a temporary solution. It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. You know, talk to people, please. I know you might feel alone, but yeah. So that's all. I didn't mean to make it so depressing, but that's been sitting with me past couple of, for really the full day today. So miss you, Chantel. Hope you're feeling better.
All right. Yeah. Thanks
Yeah,
you.
you-
I mean, people need to hear
No
that sometimes.
problem.
You
So
wouldn't be a
thanks.
Street Fighter if you didn't bring the
Yeah.
mood down.
Yeah, that's how we
My wife
do
is always
things.
saying,
Yeah,
"You're mad at
sorry
me for
about that,
bringing
guys.
the mood down."
That's cool. Thanks
Sorry,
for calling
guys.
in. I mean,
No,
my-
it happens. No, I actually, somebody mentioned that we talked about ulcerative colitis on the show, which is a problem that affects a lot of people and makes like those Amazon bathroom policies like a very big problem to have gainful employment at some of those places. And one of my good buddies that I worked with had it and lost his health care and ended up committing suicide because of it, because he was in so much pain. And, it's a big problem. So, there is always, a place you can go and, to ask for help and reach out, right?
Yep. I don't know if I'm bringing the mood up here, but I'm still reeling from that piece
That
of
black
candy.
licorice is pretty bad. I'm still tasting it. It tastes like the saltiest beef jerky.
I'm
of
sorry.
my
It's
life.
such a not pleasurable experience.
I don't know. It seems like a
from
trick.
head to
it
toe.
Seems like
yeah.
you're sneaking into food.
Hey, what's up? Who's this?
Hey, it's Eminent Pop. How y'all doing? Why do every time that I talk to y'all, I'm getting my laundry out of the laundry room?
Well, it's
Like, every time when I'm calling in, I'm getting my laundry. It's just a coincidence. It just keeps happening. I'm not mad about it or anything.
It's because we
it's
make
just
you-
how it goes.
when you work when you're on the phone with us, you're working, and when you're working, and laundry is work. It's real work. I hate laundry.
Yeah,
It's tough.
unpaid labor.
It is. It should be paid. I tried to pay my daughter. My daughter wants to be paid to do the laundry now, which I'm like, but you know what?
Oh yeah,
not a
yeah,
lot of
hell yeah,
work.
you demand it.
That's enough
No,
work.
it's not. It's not enough.
I'm-
Like loading
Ma'am.
something into a machine and then something into another machine
No.
is not the type
That-
of work you get paid $50 for.
No, folding.
All right,
You have to
the
fold.
good part about that though,
When I'm about
the
one
good
third
part
of the
about that
way,
though is like Gwen
go ahead.
is like leveraging the work that wants to be done and leveraging it to try and get a concession. So she's the worker and you're the boss.
Oh God!
Like,
know,
whenever I get
but
whenever I get through folding a third of a load of laundry, I'm like, oh fuck, this has been 6 minutes already, and I have to keep at it. It's gonna be 18 minutes total. I'm stuck folding this right now. I'm trapped.
folding laundry is bad. My daughter, here's the job opening that's in my house: dishes. That job's opening. I will pay you $20 a week on top of the $50 a month that I just give you to do nothing, to do my
$50
dishes
a month.
every day so that I never have to do the dish. I like the fucking laundry. The laundry's my shit.
Okay.
It's relaxing. I can sit in front of the TV and fucking fold the laundry. There's not many things that bring me the joy and the peace of mind
no-
to actually sit in front of a TV
There's no
and
other-
just watch it.
There's no other chore that makes you watch TV.
Yeah, yeah. You can't look at your phone. You're
Right.
all in on TV, and that's what I like about laundry. I don't need her to take that away from me. Plus, here's something people.
And she wants to get paid for it.
You pay me for that
I
privilege.
know.
Pay me so I have some free time so I can be forced to watch TV.
Yeah, that's like my
Pay me for
reward.
taking away your joy.
Yeah. I've loved laundry since from the time I was a stay-at-home dad until this day. I love laundry. Is like just a thing I love. I don't know why. It's the only chore.
I love laundry.
It's the only chore I get into. But
Well, why don't you marry it?
You get to talk to a bunch of drunks, right? While you do
Yeah,
it.
but dishes here. This dishes is hell.
Those are the pits.
I
hate dishes.
jumped in the first thing I before we even like formally split up in my family, before we even formally split up the chores, I'm like, and I will wash the clothes. Because it rocks. In the dishes, you have to touch used food,
You get
and that's
filthy.
nasty.
I don't mind that because
It gets all over your
everybody's
clothes.
Everybody
It's-
knows I'll flip out if they leave like a piece of bread in the sink. They know that like if I gotta touch a piece of bread that's been left in the sink, I'll flip
No,
out.
bread. Oh, wet bread is disgusting.
Yeah, but they just we make sure everything goes in the trash, and then it's just dishes in the sink. Because like nobody. Here's the thing about the dishes in my house. We've all talked about this before. Nobody wants me freaking out, so they make sure everything is set up so that they don't hear me muttering under my breath in the kitchen about how they left all the fucking food on the dishes. Like the worst people on earth. Let me tell you some bad people, some like real just low level scummy people there's these people that go to restaurants, right?
Yeah.
And they use just an amount of napkins. They should have brought a beach
Yeah.
towel. You know what I mean? And what they do is they cover the plate with the napkins when they're done for some reason. They cover the whole plate so they can't see the food. And then they also take the rest of the napkins and stuff them in the water glass. And I don't know what utility that serves. I don't know why they're doing it, but
Oh,
they're
that's-
honestly the worst people in the fucking world.
That's-
Worse than the worst customer.
There's nobody would do that if they had ever worked at a restaurant. Never.
I know.
Yeah.
Never.
You're supposed to take all the, like, if there's a food with plate on it, if there's plate with food on it, you're supposed to, everybody else takes their food and dumps it on that top plate and just stacks up the dirty plates so that
Yeah.
when the busser
Yeah.
comes to the table, they
Yeah.
can grab it, dump one plate off, and they got their whole thing set up. You know, they're not getting paid enough to.
Well, and then there's other people who will stack all their plates, but they'll leave all the food on it, and you just have a bunch of mush food on the bottom and the top of like every plate. And I used to wait tables, and I used to do dishwashers, and I used to do bussing, and I was just like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you just smashing this food with this other plate and then smashing it under another one? This whole thing's disgusting, people.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. People spit their old gum on a plate, too. That's sickening
Oh yeah.
to me.
Yeah, if you're cleaning plates,
These
who
people are
cares?
barbarians. They're barbarians.
Yeah. I just.
Anyway,
So what's going on tonight, Jeff?
Mhm,
We
okay.
got 6 callers to get to. People are seeing us do it.
well,
on
you
here.
mentioned Baton Rouge earlier today,
I've been.
and what the hell were you doing going to Baton Rouge?
Okay, so this was an important experience in my life. The reason I went to Baton Rouge was my sister. I have an older sister that I don't talk about very much that lives in Louisiana, and I don't ever see her. I probably see her 2 or 3 times. Not 2 or 3 times a year. Every 2 or 3 years is like that kind of thing. And she was getting married down there, and she got married at a biker ball. Well, she got married in a goth wedding by a druid at a cemetery.
Right.
And then
That
they got
rocks. That rocks, though.
Yeah,
I
they
love
got
that.
in a hearse and we all followed the hearse to a biker bar where they played goth music, and I met my first drag queen in my
Oh,
life
wow.
at this wedding.
Okay.
Nice.
And
Why only every
You had
2 or
more
3
fun in
years?
Baton Rouge than I've ever had in Baton Rouge. And I
Yeah.
used to live in Baton Rouge.
she got married in a red she had a wedding dress and it was all red instead of white, and then he was wearing like this really fly goth tuxedo.
Oh.
It was, at the time I thought it was stupid because I don't know, like I expected him to like dress in skateboarder clothes or something